Welcome to Kim's Cozy Corner. I'm Kim, and today I am going to give you a garden update or a garden tour of my neighbor's garden. So let's see what's going on at my neighbor's garden. For those who are new here, I am in Southwest Ohio, Zone 6A, and I am managing vegetables and gardens in two places. I have my main garden, which is at my house, and then I also manage this garden here, which is at my neighbor's house. My neighbors are in their mid-70s and they like gardening, but they've gotten up in age and they decided that, they just couldn't do it anymore. So I come over and I plant this garden for them. I make sure I fill it full of their favorite vegetables, and then they come over and help weed and help water and harvest the vegetables, so they are enjoying this space with me. So let's go for a quick tour. I also installed a GreenStalk into the entrance to their garden, and it's growing nicely, and they're harvesting lettuce and other vegetables off of it already, and it's only been in place about 3.5 weeks. But I have a full video on nothing but my 11 GreenStalks and an update on how all of the GreenStalks are doing. So if you want to see how all of the GreenStalks are doing, whether we're talking about the GreenStalk here, there's GreenStalks in the background, and GreenStalks over there as well. If you're interested in knowing about GreenStalks, please check out my video, Garden Update of my 11 GreenStalks. I'm putting right here on the screen the actual name of the video so that you can find it, but I talk about how all 11 GreenStalks are doing. Today, I'm going to focus on what's growing in the beds though. So there are 10 4x4 beds and 3 2x4 beds, and I am using all of those beds, or between my neighbors and me, we're using all of the beds. Let's just start here on the end. In this first bed here, look at these beautiful flowers. Miss Pam does an amazing job with flowers. And she says that she doesn't do anything, she just plants them. But look at that, isn't that gorgeous? This one here has hints of pink or red in that flower there. In this first bed here, there are many different types of flowers. Oh, wait a minute, look at this. Look at this. Hopefully you can see it. Let's see if I can. You see that duck there? Hopefully you can see it. That duck, and we have like I don't know, is it called a flock? I don't even know what it's called. But there are about 4 ducks that migrate between my yard here and my neighbor's yard, and they nest every night somewhere in our garden beds or in the bushes. And this particular one is waiting for me to leave. He wants me, I should say she wants me to leave, because right here, right there, she has a nest. There are about 4 eggs in a nest right there that she's probably trying to get back to. So let me finish this garden tour so she can get back to her eggs. But in this first bed, beautiful flowers. I believe these purple flowers are called borage. If I remember correctly, bees love it, and it spreads very easily, and it has actually spread all through the garden. It's inside the bed, it's outside of the bed. I'm standing on some of it right now in between the beds, and I believe all of these purple flowers are borage, if I remember correctly. As far as vegetables in this first bed here though, we have 3 pepper plants. There's a purple bell, a purple beauty, it's a bell pepper. There's a cubanelle in here. I think there's 2 cubanelles in here. And I'm just using some regular old, I call them tomato cages for them. This is the only bed that does not have drip irrigation on it. All the other beds do. So let's just keep going down this side here. Some random flowers, borage again right there. We didn't plant it, it just decided to come up. But I have yellow, actually I'm wrong. This is a bed of orange yummies. Orange yummies are in this bed. Now this bed soil isn't as great as the soil that I have in my beds over in my main garden. They used to use a topsoil along with their compost, and it's just not as healthy. So we are trying to build the soil up. So the vegetables in these beds don't get really large yet, but I've probably improved the soil now in over half the beds, and hopefully by the end of this year we'll have all of them improved. But there are also onions in here. So there are spring onions, some people call them buncheon onions or scallions, that the roots are in the ground. My neighbor just cuts them all the way back to the ground, and they come back every year. Here's one here breaking ground. There are two more there, breaking ground again, and the roots are in the ground. All he did was cut the tops off, and they come back every year. When he wants green onions, they're there just for him. I know I'm losing some sunlight, so hopefully this comes out clear, but there are some overwintered carrots right there in this bed, and there's some squash in this bed right in the middle. And along this back edge here are all dwarf tomatoes, and along this side are dwarf tomatoes. And in the very back of this bed right here, I planted some excess green beans that I had, and I had a lot of green beans. Oh my goodness, I soaked probably 500 green beans and I only needed 2. But I have green beans everywhere I could put them, I put them in. Also in this bed, I have some rosemary that's trying to come back up. So all of these are rosemaries that are coming back from previous years. They don't look the healthiest right now, but I'm hoping they start looking better soon. This bed has traditional indeterminate tomatoes growing in it. And so in this bed, I have a beefsteak tomato in here. I also have a true black brandywine growing here on the end. So brandywine taste, but it's more of a dark purple, black type tomato. There are also 2 squash in this bed here. There's a green patty pan in here and a white scallop in here. Along the back edge here, I have a pineapple in the back, tomato, a big mama. A big mama tomato is a large paste tomato of the similar shape, same shape I should say, as like an Italian Roma. And then on the very front edge here, I honestly don't know what it is. It doesn't have a tag, not sure. Those are all indeterminate tomatoes that are going to get really large and vine heavily. Same thing in this bed here. Where you see these red cages, those are going to be all of your indeterminate tomatoes over there. And then right here on the back side is another squash, which you're going to find that's the theme for most of these beds. The tomatoes that I'm growing over here include a big mama in the back. The next 2 are black cherries. So right here in the front's a black cherry, and the next one too is a black cherry. There are 2 giant crimsons in this bed here. And so we are really trying to plant as many of those giant crimsons as possible so we can harvest the seeds to help bring this one back. I have bush beans along the back. Those are those extra beans I was talking about. And then I have zucchini growing in the middle of the bed, and something has been just eating at the leaves of this plant. And I actually came over here one day and I saw those, I don't know, some people call them pill bugs, some people call them roly-polies. I don't know what the real name is, but I saw them demolishing one of the stems of one of these plants. I walked away, I came back, there was nothing left of that particular leaf that they were eating on. So I know that they're eating it. This is not a rabbit, it's not squirrel, it's not deer, it's definitely a pill bug or a roly-poly, whatever you call them. Even though it ate this one all the way down to the ground almost that day, it's coming back. So that means the roots are still good. It's still growing. I believe this one will come back as well. On the back edge of this bed, I have dwarf tomatoes. So they only get 3 to 4 feet tall, if that. And these tomatoes are going to be full-size tomato slicers, and no cherry tomatoes, no salad tomatoes. These are going to be full-size, anywhere from 6 ounces up to 16 ounces, it says. We'll see how we do with those. The next bed over here has more dwarf tomatoes in it. It has some volunteer cilantro. So that's cilantro right there. And the interesting thing is, I never put cilantro in this bed. I did not. There was no cilantro. But I did have cilantro growing in another bed. I let the cilantro go to seed, and we harvested the seeds as coriander. So I'm pretty sure some of those seeds dropped into this bed, and now we have cilantro growing nicely. And I'm just going to let it grow because I need all the cilantro I can get. I only have 6 pockets of cilantro in my garden. On the back side here, look how beautiful this lettuce is. It's just filling out so nicely. So closest to me here, this is Butter Crunch. That's an iceberg lettuce there. And then in the very back, that's Dark Rodin. And it's all ready to be harvested. On the back edge of the garden right here, I have onions growing along the edge on this side and more celery. So this bed is all celery on this side here. And oh, I grew a lot of celery. Again, I wanted like 5 plants and I got 50. And I just gifted another 6 to someone else. But this bed is all celery and all onion. We still have our little duck waiting on me to move out of his space. I'm getting very close to his space right here. The eggs are just inside this space. Right next to that, though, is a tomato plant. It's a steakhouse indeterminate tomato plant down here. And this bed is actually no longer a raised bed. These plants are in the native soil. It's clay soil. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not expecting this tomato plant to do very well. It didn't do very well here last year either, but I had extra plants, so I threw it in anyway. On these 2 trellises here, I have cucumbers. Now these are more of a bushing variety cucumber, so it really doesn't need the trellis, but they were beautiful. They were pretty. And I had 2, and I had 2 bushing plants, and I just put them side by side. Garden art. This last 2x2 bed over here, I didn't put anything in it. My neighbors have been growing herbs in this space here for probably more than 10 years. So there's rosemary and all kinds of other herbs back here. I believe there's oregano over there. I know there's some chives in here. I don't know, thyme maybe on the back side as well, but I'm not sure about those. I'm going to have to ask my neighbor about those, but look how beautiful flowers are. So the way they have their bed set up, there are flowers on each. It used to circle. There used to be Shasta daisies all the way around it, but she's removed a lot of those. But I'm just going to do a quick circle here, but she has flowers all around her beds. That's how she used to bring in the pollinators. So back to this bed here. I don't put anything in this bed, but I know there are herbs growing in this bed. And it looks like they haven't added any soil in this bed in a few years either. So we're back down to the native soil. But this bed right beside it though, let's talk about this bed. In this bed, I have yummies. So these are, I believe, red. Nope, I'm wrong. These are the yellow yummies, which is a type of snacking pepper. They are doing okay. I think I need to add some more fertilizer to them. They're really small. So they need some fertilizer. They need a little love. Now that I have my garden planted, I'll have to bring some love over to this side. These seeds germinated from seeds that were harvested back in 2013. So all of the yummies, the red yummies, the yellow yummies, the orange yummies, I only wanted like 3 plants of each, and I got like 10 of each. I mean, they germinated so well, and they're 10 years old. And so that's what's in the garden here. In the front, these are all green beans, bush green beans. I planted them a little over a week ago, and they've actually came in really nicely. And it's a combination. So there's contender, there's jade in here, there's blue lake bush beans in here, there are gold rush, which is like a gold wax bean in here, there's dragon tongue in here. So it's just a combination of many different types of beans. On the back side here are my winter squash, and there are 3 types of winter squash in here. 2 of them are buttercups, and 1 is a very long Chinese name that I can't pronounce. But those are my winter squash, and I put them way down on this end here so that we can have them trellis up and back down the back side of this, and we can have them trellis this way. Along the back side of the garden, we opened up a space so that we can trellis them. And if we need to make a right turn, we're going to make a right turn and come back around this side. And last year, we needed to do all of that. We're just trying to be prepared. In this space here, I have red yummies along the back here. And then on this side here, I have all vining cucumbers. So these cucumbers are going to go up this do-it-yourself trellis. And then in the center of the bed, I have more squash. And on the very edge, I added additional beans, more beans, lots and lots of beans. Now the germination on these are kind of sparse, but you know, I wasn't expecting to put any beans in this space. So glad to have any that germinate. In this last bed here, there are 4 cucumbers in the center of the bed all the way down to the end. So there are 4 different bush style cucumbers in there that I just put tomato cages on. And on the back side here, I have vining cucumbers, and most of these are pickling cucumbers on this side here. And they're actually on fan trellis, which is kind of hard to see, but these are fan trellis in this bed here. So that's what's growing in my neighbor's garden. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, thumbs up as always, and subscribe to the channel. Share the video, turn on the notifications. I will keep updating you all summer long so you can watch the garden grow with me. Thanks for joining me, and come back again real soon. Have a good day. Bye.